Hello, everybody. My name is Brian Bullitt, and today I'm going to present to you all information about the Mississippi River floods of 2011. So let's just get right into it. So first off, we're just going to be talking about why the Mississippi River floods occurred. Like what caused it. So really, it's not simple what caused this, but it's, I guess you would say, predictable. Um, so the four main reasons that the Mississippi River floods occurred were because one, there was a record number of precipitation coming from heavy spring rains that season in 2011, so around March through May. And then there was also a tornado super outbreak during that time, and I know May is a very prime time in America, at least, for tornadoes to start forming. And obviously, with tornadoes comes precipitation because a tornado is a form of storm. So that makes sense. And then also, there was actually a late winter coming into 2011, so there was still snow melting around the Mississippi River area, which would obviously possibly lead to the river overflowing. Um, and also, I put overall lack of preparation for the event, but I wouldn't say that it was a lack of preparation, I guess, because these people, like the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, um, they were talking about how it was something that they didn't really see coming, and it really tested their levee ability and their overall protection from flooding. So it was more just something that it was more of just, I guess you would say, like an anomaly in weather because it was just such a devastating flood in comparison to anything they've seen in a long time. Um, and right here is actually a chart. That shows the precipitation data from 1895 to 2011. Um, and so you can see there were actually some pretty catastrophic periods of time when it came to precipitation. In I think it was 1927 there was another really bad flood. And then it also seems like the 70s around here. But right here you see that significant spike in precipitation in 2011. And you can even see this median line right here, just how much more precipitation there was that year than there was in a very long time. And right here it actually says 117 years. Um, so this was a really devastating flood and something that was very difficult to prepare for. Um, so next we have the magnitude of the floods. So the flooding was pretty widespread across the Midwest, not really the whole country, more just the Midwest. It hit 119 counties in the lower Mississippi River states such as Arkansas, Illinois, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, and Tennessee. And these states experienced broken levee systems, which obviously is the main factor in allowing flood waters to rage on. Um, and I think it is definitely arguable that the frequency of this event could certainly be influenced by climate change. Um, because climate change warms the water, and when there's warmer waters, there's also more hurricanes, and hurricanes are obviously a huge participant in precipitation overall. And here is another image by the National Weather Service to kind of give you guys a gauge of where the major flooding was throughout the Midwest. So you can kind of see, like, this is probably like near Louisiana, I'm guessing. Um, and then this is like Arkansas-ish, and then Illinois up here. And then this actually looks more like the Dakotas up here too. The Dakotas actually got some pretty bad flooding. Um, and this is kind of expected because the Mississippi River covers a lot of America, so it's not just Mississippi, although that does seem kind of misleading. So next up, this is just a quote from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. They said the magnitude of the event tested the system and its individual components like no flood before it. So that kind of goes back to what I was talking about before, to that sort of lack of preparation to the event because they just had never seen something like this in such a long time, so that just really ended up being very unfortunate for them and tens of thousands of others. Um, and speaking of unfortunate, here are the societal and economic effects. So there were 348 total deaths. So as far as flood deaths go, that's a pretty tragic number. 43,000 people were affected overall. So this could be like these 21,000 homes that were affected are part of this, along with the businesses that were hammered by the floods. the 1.2 million acres of agricultural land that were just absolutely pummeled by the floods. Those are all incredibly significant losses, and these all totaled up to about $2.8 billion. Um, so that is just incredibly devastating and tragic. And speaking of devastating and tragic, you can see in this photo, this is a woman by the name of Sally Nance who is helping her neighbors move their clothes out of the floodwaters to keep them clean and dry. And you can just see how high that water really is. It's up to her kneecaps, almost her middle thigh. So it's incredible to see how much damage that these floodwaters can do and how high they can get. And here's another photo just to kind of give you even a better perspective of how devastating this flood really was. You can see all these houses are like almost underwater completely. These people certainly had to evacuate and basically leave everything behind, hoping for the best. So for the last slide, we have the response to the floods. So obviously when something like this happens, you have to try and prepare for another event like that too. You have to prepare for another event that might occur in the future. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, they described it as they were going to undergo critical repairs on the levee systems to prevent sand boils and to overall protect their citizens more effectively. And now, obviously, by now, the residential areas where the floods affected them, they're fine now for the most part. I mean, it was 9 years ago when that happened, so hopefully by now that they're back on their feet. But there haven't really been, not that I saw at least, any legislative changes that really could help prepare for something more like this. They more just had to take a bunch of money out from Congress and then really focus their funds in on levee systems, dams, and just overall protection to future floods. So yeah. And so here are my image references, just to show you that I didn't just pull them out of anywhere. Here are my text references. And that's going to do it for my presentation. So I hope you guys learned something new, and I hope you all enjoyed. So thank you guys for watching.